Some of the top leaders didn't want to be trained at all. Some of the top leaders kind of like it where it is because they're taking advantage of the people.
You've taken this not just to like business owners and all the books, but you've worked with world leaders.
Oh, yes.
And what's some of the most frustrating things you've encountered when working with a world leader where you were just like, this country, question mark?
Well, I travel the world. We've trained 5 million leaders in every country of the world. We're the largest equipping organization in the world. And what put me into this position of training leaders internationally was, especially in developing countries, the people were suffering because they had bad leadership. They weren't suffering because they couldn't have a better life. And so I became very passionate about what would happen if we could help people lead better. And what I discovered was this. The mistake I made, we make a lot, I have a whole lecture, Dawson, on you're never good the first time. And so I've got a lot of first times in my life where I go, oops. And so I really began to focus in like on the leaders of the country, and that was good. But what I found, the eureka moment for us is when we began to focus on helping people themselves learn how to lead. Because what happens is that allowed them to better themselves in their family and in their community, regardless of what was happening in the government. And then it helped them become aware of what good leadership was because they were practicing it. So now their expectations of even people that they would put into office began to go at a higher level. But I had a miss in the beginning. I just thought, well, we'll train the top leaders and everything will be well. And some of the top leaders didn't want to be trained at all. Some of the top leaders kind of like it where it is because they're taking advantage of the people. In fact, when I am privately, when the press is gone, the door shuts and I'm in the, quote, Oval Office or whatever of a prime minister president, I look them right in the eye, Dawson, and I look at them and I say, one question. Are the people in this country better off because you're in this position? Or are you better off because you're in this position? You talk to me. It's just us. Who's winning here? Are you winning or are they winning? Because if you're winning, we got problems. The people have to win. The best thing can be said of any leader, Brandon, you know this, is when it's over, the people say, I'm better because Maxwell was my leader. I'm better because Dawson was my leader. I'm better because of that. That's why we lead, to lift people. But that's a question I always ask. Do it privately. And I've had some very interesting conversations out of that question, obviously.
I bet you have. Very interesting.
Some to be told, some not to be told.
Yeah, exactly. I carry that forward to many of the conversations I have with business owners who have no problem voicing their frustrations with their people. But the inverse of that is when I ask them, what are you doing specifically to uplift your people? What's your intention to bring value to your people so they would care to bring value to you? And a lot of them they kind of just look at you. There isn't an intention. There isn't a focus. They're thinking, what are they going to do for me? They're on my payroll. They're supposed to work. They're supposed to, and from what I've learned from you is if we can create a vehicle, a business that allows other people to succeed inside of it, and then be committed to their success, they'll multiply themselves and their impact and their influence, which makes your life actually easier, because if you're creating a business where you got to drag everyone around, it wears everybody out.